Welcome back, everyone, to the Horror Shed Podcast. I'm half your host, Jared. We have Brian with us today. How you doing today, sir?
I'm doing good. How are you doing?
Good, man. We had some horror trailers drop today.
We did. We actually had two and a half because they put a teaser out for the Winnie the Pooh one, but it was like the same thing. I thought it was a new one, but you had reached out to me earlier and they released I think Evil Dead was yesterday, right?
I saw it today, so it could have been
Okay.
yesterday, but I watched it today.
So what'd you think?
I'm interested. I'm a lot more interested than I was.
Yeah, see, now I don't know if it's going to be a follow-up to the remake from like 2012, 13, or if it's just in the universe.
I don't know. Um,
And if it's in the universe, how does this damn book keep traveling all around?
it's in the Comic Con. Who cares?
Yeah, yeah. It looks really good. I like the fact that it's straight up horror, like the reboot.
Yes.
Because, I'm not a fan. I mean, I've watched The Evil Dead. It's that dark comedy, Sam Raimi, that we all love. I mean, I like Army of Darkness better than Evil Dead 1 and 2. He did Drag Me to Hell, which had that Evil Dead humor to it.
Yeah.
But yeah, this looks really good.
Yeah, I'm excited about it now. It looks like we might finally get some jump scares. I haven't jumped in a
Yeah.
while, so I'm hoping
Yeah,
so.
and you were just talking about it the other night.
I was.
Yeah.
And then we had
Renfield.
Renfield drop.
I enjoyed it.
Yeah, I left. I think it's gonna be funny. Like we were talking earlier, the group annoyed the hell out of me. So I'm really
Hmm.
hoping that's just a segment of that film and that there isn't
Right.
other
And this
yeah.
could be Nicolas Cage redemption, like back to making AAA movies and not like B, C movies to pay off the IRS.
Maybe. I mean, he sounded good as Dracula, so
He did. I like the teeth, not so much, but he sounded good. He looked good. Um, I like how Renfield eats a fly and he gets like
yeah.
powers.
Oh
Yeah.
man.
And then like I said, they dropped like another teaser for Winnie the Pooh, and I think the only difference between this one and the one prior was you see Winnie the Pooh kill someone.
Right.
So yeah. Now you watched X the other
I
night.
did watch X the other night.
What did you think?
I'm at about 3 blood splats with it.
Out
Um
of five?
yeah.
Okay. Yeah, it was good. I liked how it felt like it was shot like in, I think it took place like in 79 or 80.
Yes.
So I like that, the whole feel of it. Now, were you aware that Mia Goth played
Both
the
sides, yeah.
Maggie and the old lady?
I was.
Now, when you go into Pearl, don't have the same expectations as X. It's completely different, as I felt it was more of a psychological thriller than a horror movie.
That's what this felt like a little more to me, like a thriller. Because I mean,
Hmm.
guns were used, and the only thing I didn't like about X was it was very predictive. I knew what was coming.
Yeah,
That's the
and
only thing I didn't really
poor
like.
what's her name? Jenna, what the
Ortega,
one?
yeah,
Ortega, how she went out.
yeah.
I was like, holy
I was
damn.
actually surprised. I figured she would make it,
Yeah, I
but
think
I,
now, post Wednesday, she would be the final girl.
oh yeah. But Mia
Yeah.
Goth, I mean, she was really good in it, playing the
And
dumb hillbilly, and
she was excellent playing Pearl.
okay, good.
Like, she was really good. And what I liked really about it, again, the cinematography. Now it takes place like in the 20s, but it looks like the movie itself was made in the 50s as far as the opening credits. Um, they do like all the, how like in the olden movies, the golden age movies, where they did all the opening credits at the beginning.
Yeah,
It was kind of like that. The the coloring, the color grading was fantastic, and she gave a hell of a monologue at the end of this movie. Now, I don't want to talk about it until you watch it.
yep.
So the only thing is, so for Maggie, it takes place like in the mid 80s.
Okay.
So I kind of wish they, like, the third film was after Pearl but before X. That's how I wish they went with it.
Okay.
Yeah, because I don't, obviously the Pearl character won't be around for the third one. It's going to be about Maggie making it big, quote unquote. So
Ah,
is it big in Hollywood or big in the porn world?
Yeah.
So
It was Brittany Snow with a hell of a performance out of her.
uh-huh, uh-huh.
I didn't even know it was her. I because
No,
I'll
yeah.
always read like Wikipedia after I'm done watching to see if I
Me
miss
too.
anything. And said Brittany Snow. I'm like, that's not Brittany Snow. Holy shit, it's Brittany Snow.
Yeah, she came a long way from. I was first introduced to her in this TV show early to like no later than like 2003 or 4. It was set around American Bandstand, like in the 50s.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's when I was first introduced to her, and then I think she was in like um
She was in a couple horror remakes, I think.
I think, but
And then
what
those teen movies like
yeah, she did that acapella movie. I can't think of the Pitch Perfect. She was in that.
oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
And then you see her as this character, and you're like, holy crap.
I was not complaining
No,
at
neither was
all.
I. No. But I think or no, was it Jenna Ortega as the farmer's daughter? That was it. She was playing the farmer's daughter. Remember, she wanted to do a
Oh
scene,
yeah, 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 yeah,
and she's 23, but she looks like she's 16, and I feel bad watching her.
yeah. Is she? I thought
So,
she was only 20.
well, maybe she's 20, but I know she's over 18, but
Yes,
she doesn't look it
and it was
though.
all filmed over 18, so it's okay.
Yeah. But yeah, they filmed X and Pearl back to back.
Okay,
So yeah, and A24 is, I think they're going to be a company to watch out for. They've done some shitty movies like Hereditary and Mother, or no, Hereditary and Midsummer. And I think Ty West did those. I'm not 100% sure, and I wasn't a fan of either, but they are one of the companies that is doing the Friday 13th series for Peacock. So I like what they put out. Like there was another good movie they did maybe like 2010, The Devil Within, I think it's called.
okay.
Where I'll send it to you. Really good. It was set like in the late 70s or early 80s, and it felt like that
Mhm.
too. And it was a good it wasn't what I expected as far as I thought it was going to be about a devil, but it's more about a cult.
Okay.
And yeah, so I'll send you that. It's a good one.
How did you end up finishing that Conjuring adventure movie? Like the ghost hunters were at the Conjuring house.
No, I fell asleep.
Okay.
So, but yeah, so far so good. It has me hooked.
Okay.
And would you buy a house like that?
Oh,
Like,
no doubt.
because we all know like the Amityville horror is probably just really, I don't, there's not enough going on to say it's a haunted house, but definitely with the Conjuring house, there's a lot going on.
Yeah.
So you would buy
In a
the,
heartbeat.
yeah.
Oh yeah.
Like now, would you buy it to like to do what they did and like do invite people in, or would you buy it just to say, I bought the Conjuring house?
Oh, that's gonna be exactly what they're doing. It'll be
Yeah.
a financial gain, but I'm
Yeah.
never giving it up.
And would you like sleep and you would actually sleep
Yeah,
there?
I'll be all right.
Yeah. How would Terry feel?
She's already slept in a haunted house, so it ain't that much
Oh,
different.
okay, true, true. Yeah. Megan comes out next, or actually this weekend, so I'll probably go see it
I
next
I
weekend.
hear the early reviews are this movie's okay.
Well,
Like,
you know,
yeah, but I
and
don't
I don't bug at
exactly.
critics. Yeah, like Rotten Tomatoes put out, now this is a different genre, but like the top 20 westerns of all time, right? Wasn't on there at all?
Uh,
Tombstone.
oh wow.
They had a good range. Like they had a lot of classics, but they didn't have Tombstone, they didn't have True Grit, like the remake.
Mhm.
Of course, Unforgiven was on there. I forget it wasn't number one though, but see, that's why I don't go with critics because
Yeah, me neither.
yeah. All right, but we are here to talk about your favorite
Oh
franchise.
yeah, we're gonna play the trailer now.
The kids of Elm Street don't know it yet, but something is coming to get them.
There's something out there, isn't there?
We just see cuts happen.
What did that, Lieutenant?
I don't know.
What's the coroner got to say? He's in the jar and puking since he saw it.
They're gonna kill me for sure.
Did you do it?
There was somebody else there.
He was locked in a room with a girl who went in alive and came out in a rubber bag.
No one knows where it came from or who it will visit next.
Nancy? There's something wrong with you. You're imagining things.
Nightmare on Elm Street.
Do you believe in the boogeyman?
No.
Whatever you do, don't fall asleep.
She's the only one who can stop it. If she fails,
I'm your boyfriend now, Nancy.
no one will survive. From Wes Craven, director of The Hills Have Eyes and Last House on the Left, a new masterpiece in fantasy terror, Nightmare on Elm.
Oh yeah, A Nightmare on Elm Street.
So what was do you remember your introduction to Nightmare on Elm Street, like your earliest memory?
100%. I was in between 3 and 5 years old. I know I was at 5 at the latest. My uncle videotaped 1 and 2 and then Friday 4 on one VHS tape for me. And I played that. It had all the commercials, all the old McDonald's commercials, and
Nice.
I played that tape until it broke.
Okay.
For years, I sat there and watched that tape.
See, I don't remember when I first watched the original, but I remember when I watched part 2, and I saw a commercial for it on HBO, and I was probably about 7, maybe 8, and I think my parents went away. Like, I forget if they were like went on vacation or something. So my grandmom had come over to babysit that one night. 'Cause I think my sister, I don't know what she was doing, but I had said, my mom said I could watch Nightmare on Elm Street Part 2. Yeah, total lie. So we got up to the part where like the everything like in Jesse's room was melting.
Yep.
And she's like, you're not watching this, and turned it off, you know? But that's my earliest memory. So, but I don't remember when I first watched the original.
Yeah, this jolted me into horror hardcore. Once
So
I
what is
stopped
it-
being scared of this movie is when I started jumping into the others.
So what is it about Freddy that's your favorite horror character and franchise?
You got really loud there for a minute. That was weird. Dude, I don't know. I think it's just probably my first, and he really just stayed my favorite through all the years of watching all these crazy horror movies.
Okay.
Definitely, probably Robert Englund.
Yeah, I mean, I can't think of, obviously, like, he'll forever be tied to Freddy, like Christopher Reeve is Superman, Hugh Jackman is Wolverine. Going back at it is like, there's really no one in his day and age that could pull it off.
Yeah, and really, if you think about it, he didn't hit like Darth Vader status until the third movie.
Yeah.
So
yep.
I was hooked before even all that started.
Yeah.
So when 3 came out, they wouldn't take me to the theater. The first one I saw in the theater was 5.
Me too. No. Which one was that?
Dream
That,
Child.
Okay, I saw Freddy's Dead was the first one I saw in theaters.
Okay. But yeah, the first one they would take me to see was 5. But I did see 4 as soon as it came out on rental.
Okay. And you know, when I first saw 4, I was like, who's this bitch playing Alice? Or was it Alice? No. Was that who did she play? Christina, what was her name?
Wow, you're really
Tina.
Patricia.
Tina.
Patricia Arquette. Kristen.
Yeah. I'm like, who is this? You know, and I didn't understand like recasting at that age, you know. And I just like Tuesday night, like, I mean, she's an actress, she's gone on to do other things, but
Interesting fact about Tuesday Night: she sang the intro to 4.
I did hear that not too long ago.
It's
Yes,
on my haunt playlist. She does a good job.
nice. I just didn't think she had the chemistry with like the other cast
Now, if
members.
when we cover that, I'll go more into that. The issue was she was scared to death on set,
Gotcha. Okay.
and the whole bikini scene was this whole ordeal. I'm not gonna say she caused drama, but she kind of affected the movie.
Okay. I loved how Freddy came back in part 4, though.
Oh yeah, come on now. A dog named Jason takes a piss.
Yeah.
There's been worse ways characters have come back.
But it was a cool like just and I had a chance to talk with Mick Strawn because he worked on part 3 and 4, and we talked about that whole. He didn't. I forget what he said. Like I know he was a lot hands on in 3, but maybe not so much 4. But I do know like he had a lot to do with that whole graveyard scene.
Okay.
But that was a really cool revival. How like, he like rejuvenated.
Mm-hmm.
So because you think about it, like in part 5, you don't even know really. I mean, well, he comes back, but it's like through the he's having the nightmares through the baby or whatever.
It's a boy.
I remember seeing the trailer for part 5, and it was pretty cool. I liked with the what do you call it, the stroller.
Yeah, and really
cool.
Between 3 and 4, the popularity he hit, you could have had him throwing poop at people. People would have flooded the theaters to see it. So,
yeah,
I mean, the 5 has its own story too. It's really weird how that one was made.
And you're friends with Beatrice,
Amanda
right?
Krueger, yeah, she's on our Facebook. Very nice lady.
That'd be cool to get her on the show.
I know. I got a sick Terry on her.
Yeah, there you go. Terry, get to work. You got your homework.
Who I really want to get on here,
mm-hmm.
There's only one person that's worked on every Nightmare film. Her name's Rachel Talladay. She actually...
Oh, yes. She directed part 6, right?
Yep, she directed Nightmare.
Okay.
Freddy's Dead, the final.
Yeah.
I would love to talk to that woman.
Yeah, because she also directed, I think she directed, what's it called? Pet Sematary.
Oh, yeah. Okay, cool.
I believe she did. Either the first one or the second one. Yeah. But all right, but you were gonna digest into the original.
Yeah, we're gonna hit Nightmare. Yeah, baby. A Nightmare on Elm Street, 1984, an American supernatural slasher film written and directed by Wes Craven and produced by Robert Shea, also known as Bob Shea. Basically, we'll right into the plot. This is what I have from Wikipedia. They do a good job.
Mm-hmm.
Teenager Tina Gray awakens from a terrifying nightmare wherein a disfigured man wearing a Blade Flicks glove attacks her in a boiler room. Her mother points out 4 mysterious slashes on her nightgown. The following morning, Tina's best friend Nancy Thompson and Nancy's boyfriend Glenn Lance console her, revealing that they each had nightmares of this previous night.
Let's take a pause. Okay, so the intro where he's like making the glove and
such a cool intro.
Yeah.
And can we take it back to the trailer for a minute? Can we bring back the old horror trailer?
Yeah.
We can find a dude that sounds like that. We really can.
Yeah.
I mean, we got a guy playing in for Journey. It sounds just like the lead singer. We could find a dude to do this.
Now, I saw this in a post, and I don't know how true it is, and you might know, but apparently Johnny Depp's name is not in the opening credits at all. Have you ever noticed that?
No, it is. It says introducing Johnny Depp.
That's what I thought, and someone said, no, it's not in there. I'm like, nah, I think it's in there. Okay, so that was debunked. Okay.
And it says introducing. That's how I remember Johnny Depp's in there.
Okay. And then when Tina woke up, I think then her mom says, like, you got to do something with those nails or something, right?
You got to cut your nails or stop that kind of dreaming. One or the other. Yeah, okay. Yeah, the intro when he's pounding on the brass.
Yeah.
And you hear the sound effects and him breathing.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
And then he goes, ah.
And then you see the glove. So awesome.
Yeah.
I need to get my glove fixed. I need to get it welded. All right. The two stay at Tina's house when Tina's mother goes out of town, where she discovers that Nancy also had a nightmare about the disfigured man. Tina's boyfriend, Rod Lane, interrupts the sleepover. Ski! When Tina falls asleep, she dreams of the disfigured man chasing her. Rod is awakened by Tina's thrashing and sees her dragged and fatally slashed by an unseen force, forcing him to flee as Nancy and Glenn awaken to find Tina bloodied and dead.
And let's talk about that scene. That room was a revolving room, correct?
Correct. They used that room twice for this movie. And Rod, I believe, actually did get hit in the face with a lamp because it wasn't secured on the thing.
Right, yeah.
And then, it was such a cool scene. You just watch her go up the ceiling.
Yeah.
The cuts come down, and then she just hits the bed. Just flunk. I was like,
and then shout out to Rod's tidy whities too.
Yes, the 80s tidy whities. I'm shocked he didn't have the day of the week on it, which was a funny feature I noticed in X.
When the guy comes out, yeah.
No, it was Jenna Ortega's underwear had Tuesday written on them.
Oh, really?
They just add funny. The young girl to it, yeah.
Okay.
I remember those stupid fucking things. All right. The next day, Nancy's policeman father, Don Thompson, arrests Rod despite his pleas of innocence. At school, Nancy falls asleep in class and dreams that the man chases her to the boiler room where she is cornered. She then deliberately burns her arm on a pipe. The burn startles her awake in class, and she notices a burn mark on her arm. Now, Lynn Shay was the teacher.
Right, and that's Bob's sister,
Correct,
right?
Correct.
Yeah. That always freaked me out, like when the student is reading, like in that
like
pitch.
The weird devil pitch, like
and then before she falls asleep, she sees Tina's body like in the
lift up.
That always creeped me out.
Oh, it's so awesome.
Yeah, and then,
I don't know what creeped me out more, that or when that like millipede came out of her mouth.
That's what I was going to just bring up. And then she's running a hallway and knocks into like the Freddy.
Yeah,
and she's like, "Where's your hall pass?
Screw your pass." I didn't even watch it for this review. I didn't really have to. I'm like, I'm good.
Well, I was like how I am with Friday the 13th.
Yeah. All right, so Nancy visits Rod at the police station, who describes Tina's death along with his own recent nightmares about the same man stalking her in her dreams, making Nancy believe that the man killed Tina. So Nancy knows what's up.
Mm-hmm.
At home, Nancy falls asleep in the bathtub and is nearly drowned by the man. Awesome scene, historic scene, will go down in cinema history. The guy was actually sitting in the tub with her.
Okay.
And he would use his hand to come up here. The way it was like he had a lower advantage than Nancy.
Right.
Nancy then depends on caffeine to stay awake and invites Glenn to watch over her as she sleeps. In her dream, Nancy sees the man prepare to kill Rod in his cell, but then he turns his attention towards her.
Mm-hmm.
Nancy runs away and wakes up when her alarm clock goes off.
And him going through the bars was creepy.
Yeah, just right through.
Yeah.
It was like T2 stuff way early.
Yeah.
The man kills Rob by wrapping bed sheets around his neck, staging it as a suicide via hanging. At Rod's funeral, Nancy's parents become worried when she describes her dreams. Her mother, Marge, takes her to a sleep disorder clinic, where in a dream, Nancy grabs the man's fedora with the name Fred Krueger written in it and pulls it into the real world. The doctor in that dream sequence was the voice of Roger Rabbit.
Really?
Yes.
Oh, interesting. Look at that.
Look.
And this is where she gets her infamous streak of gray hair.
Hey, that's sexy as hell when I was here.
And let's not forget, her mom's a raging alcoholic.
Oh, without a doubt. Biggest fucking 80s lush I've ever seen.
Now, is that the reason the parents got divorced, because she was an alcoholic, or was it more? I mean, because
they never really went into that or why. It's probably a mix of, hey, we murdered this motherfucker, and B, you're a raging fucking alcoholic.
Yeah.
But then later, Kristen's mom's divorced and an alcoholic too in 3.
Right.
So
Underlay.
maybe it was just a California thing.
Yeah.
After barricading the house, Marge explains that Krueger was an insane child murderer who killed 20 children but was released on a technicality and then burned alive by the victims' parents living on their street seeking vigilante justice. Nancy realizes that Krueger, now a vengeful ghost, is killing her and her friends out of revenge and to fill his psychopathic needs. That's a creepy scene too, is Nancy's all freaked out. They're sitting in the basement and she pulls out the glove.
Yeah.
That was a creepy scene.
Yeah.
A lot of people didn't like the mom actor. I thought she did good, especially in that scene.
Now, I always wondered, Nancy had the glove. Why didn't she use it as a weapon against Freddy?
Right? I wouldn't, because you're too damn close.
Yeah.
All right, so then Nancy tries to call Glenn to warn him. Whatever you do, don't fall asleep.
He was too busy watching Miss Nude America or whatever.
Well, how are you going to hear what she has to say? Who cares what she has to say? The cut-off football jersey.
And then at this point, I believe the bars go up on the windows, right?
Yeah.
And then when Nancy tries to go over to the house, the mom's like, lock, lock, lock. She's all like 3 sheets to the wind.
Nancy tries to call Glenn to warn him, but his father prevents her from speaking to him. Glenn falls asleep and is killed by Krueger in probably one of the biggest Hollywood death scenes ever.
Yeah, that was a great scene.
That held the record for the most blood used until... I used to remember the movie, but I don't know. I think it was Dead Alive, because that was like a couple years after the lawnmower scene. That terrible movie.
Yeah, Peter Jackson, like one of his early films. I mean, look at him. He went on to make Mr. Lord of the Rings.
Sometimes you got to make some shitters to move up. It was like Scream 3, when the guy's like, I just want to make a love story, but they're making me do all this shitty horror.
Yeah. So, and then poor Nancy she's like a prisoner in her own house.
She can't even get out. She's breaking windows.
Yeah.
Now alone, Nancy puts Marge to sleep and asks Don, who is across the street investigating Glenn's death, to break into her house in 20 minutes. Nancy rigs booby traps around the house and grabs Krueger out of a dream and into the real world. The booby traps affect Krueger enough that Nancy can light him on fire and lock him in the basement. One of the worst effects in this movie, because you can see all the fireproofing. But
it was like Super Freddy on fire.
Yeah.
But speaking of that, let's go back earlier to when she first goes under and she's running up the steps and it's like oatmeal.
It was pancake mix.
Okay. That, I mean, like when you watch it on VHS, you can't really make it out. But when it came out on DVD,
you can see where the holes are before she steps in them. I know, but it was still really a cool effect, especially when he's at the door with the mask on. Oh, help me, Nancy, help me! It's Freddy. That's when I started. Bad. That's when I started cracking up about Freddy. Oh man!
You can buy the replica phone with the tongue sticking out.
A couple people on Etsy make those.
Yeah.
Some look pretty bad though. I gotta be honest.
Yeah.
I want the real one. God damn it. Oh man! All right, so Nancy lights him on fire and locks him in the basement. Nancy rushes to the door for help.
You know what? Time out again. I'm sorry.
Oh, no problem.
You're reviewing Freddy and you got a Jason shirt on.
I gotta show some. Yeah, but I mean, I'm okay over here. And that sucks because I just got I should have worn my Freddy's Dead shirt that I just got it.
Yeah, you should.
I forgot about that. It's all right.
I think you're a closet Jason fan.
Oh, I love Jason, but not more than Freddy. That's funny you called that.
Yeah, I just realized it.
Don't worry, I got Nightmare all over this screen. We're good to go. And our letters are moving without stalling our goddamn video.
Nice.
Fuck you, OBS. All right. The police arrive to find that Krueger has escaped from the basement. That was a cool scene with
It
the
was
fire coming out of the
yes.
carpet and really
Yeah.
like some are higher than the others. I always
mhm.
remembered that. Nancy and Don go upstairs to find a burning Krueger smothering Marge in the bedroom. After Don extinguishes the fire, Krueger and Marge vanish into the bed.
That was the skeleton.
That was creepy as shit, though. And
It
you
was.
remember those old trading cards they had? Like Poltergeist, The Fly?
Yes,
I had
yeah.
every one that they had for a
Oh,
nightmare.
wow.
I need to find
Okay.
them, man.
Yeah.
I mean, I know I don't still have them, but I'm sure I can find them on eBay.
Yeah.
Because you had Freddy in the Tux, you had the mom ashes. Yeah, I had all of them.
And this is the part of the movie where it still to this day confuses me.
Confuses me. So let's do it.
He's in the real world. He's set on fire. He's able to kill the mom, but then like the dad puts the blanket over him and she goes into wherever.
What I always told myself was
Mhm.
she was asleep and he used her to go back into the dream world.
Okay.
So
that
then
makes sense.
when he
Okay.
so he he's on top of her coming at her with the glove, then he throws the blanket over. I think they both go back into the dream world.
Okay,
That's
that makes
how
sense.
that's how Nancy isn't able to, and I could be completely fucking wrong.
I do like that theory. Because, and what I loved was like when he comes back out through the bed, I think, and he rips through the sheets. That was the original, right? When he rips through the sheets. Great scene. I love it. And then like she turns her back on him.
Uh-huh.
And she's like, I take everything, like all your strength away, blah blah blah.
And that's why I think the dad's not there. I think she went back to sleep to turn her back on him.
Gotcha.
Because as soon as she opens the door, it's a whole new fucking world.
Right.
So that was always my thinking.
And so right, and then she's like, they're like, oh, it's a nice day. It's gonna rain though,
Yeah.
like the mom's sober and everything, and then
maybe I think I'm gonna stop drinking. I just don't feel like it anymore.
You're dreaming of mom saying that.
For real. Nancy steps outside into a bright, foggy morning where all her friends and her mother are still alive. Nancy gets into Glenn's convertible to go to school when the green and red striped top suddenly covers them and locks them in the car.
I think someone should redo that car and have it at horror conventions. That'd be pretty cool.
That would be fucking cool.
Yeah. So, and that was like, I know, like, now, are you a fan of that final scene where the mom gets
no one is. And
so
the problem is they didn't know how they wanted to end it. Craven knew, but Bob Shea wouldn't let him do what he wanted to do because
what did Craven want to do?
I don't remember. There are if you look on YouTube, you can see the final. I think the car just drives off and that's it.
Okay, and you had the girls doing the nursery rhyme. Yeah.
That's where I would have left it. I wouldn't have had the mom suck through the freaking thing.
Because it was so hokey.
Because they're back in trouble. So you can branch off a sequel from anything.
Right, yeah.
But having that mom come through that fucking window is just ridiculous.
And then this is basically the start of the Freddy franchise. Because it was New Egg Pictures and New Line, which was
nothing.
Infancy.
He was selling movies out of his trunk.
Yeah.
And this is the only guy that took a chance with Wes Craven's idea.
Mm-hmm.
And it built New Line Cinema into what was a powerhouse for many years.
And it's not, New Line's not in, it's not still around, is it?
No, they're owned by AOL, and then AOL sold it to some, it's a piece of someone now, but I don't remember who.
Gotcha. Now, is Bob Shea still active, or is he like retired?
I think he's retired. I haven't heard a lot out of Bob Shea.
Okay. I mean, we hear a lot of Lynn Shea.
Yeah. She went on I mean, it took her a while, but the Insidious franchise really brought her to the forefront.
Yeah.
And she was in a couple more, too. She was in Freddy's Dead.
Who's playing Freddy's Dead?
Freddy's Dead. She was... No. She was a nurse, so I think it was either 5 or 4.
Maybe
No,
4.
no, no, no. New Nightmare. She was in New Nightmare.
New Nightmare.
She was
New
in the
Nightmare.
hospital.
New Nightmare was the one where it was all in reality, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
When the boy was in the
Gotcha.
hospital, she was in the hospital.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. So we got the cast here. Well casted.
Yeah.
I didn't hate any.
They were all relatable.
Yeah.
In like that time frame, I felt like the cast was relatable more than they are today.
Yes.
They did look like teenagers, not like Black Friday having a 40-year-old playing a teenager. I like, yeah, you like them. I don't know. I really didn't care for the Rod character. I guess he was just a dick.
Oh, he was heavy in heroin, that whole movie.
Yeah.
Heavy in heroin.
I just wish there was more John Saxon in it, though.
Me too. Everybody does. Yeah. John Saxon's awesome.
Yeah.
So we have Heather Langenkamp as Nancy Thompson.
Mm-hmm.
Her first, was it her? I believe it was her first role.
Mm-hmm.
Or she was in the TV show first and then did this. Just the 10 of us.
Oh, no, that was after.
Okay.
That was after.
Just 10 of us was after.
Yeah, because that was a spinoff of Growing Pains.
Okay.
Yeah.
John Saxon as Lieutenant Donald Thompson. The infamous Robert Englund as Freddy Krueger. Johnny Depp as Glenn Lance. Ronnie Blakely as Marge Thompson. Amanda Weiss as Tina Gray. She's been doing a ton of cons.
Yes, she has. And the only other film I really know her from is Fast Times at Ridgemont High.
Yes.
She played Judge Reinhold's ex-girlfriend.
Yes, the one he broke up with because he's going to be a graduate.
Well, he was going to break up with her, but then she ended up breaking up with him.
Yeah.
And he got all pissed off.
That was just on before I came in here.
Was it? Oh, such a good movie.
It's so funny.
Yeah.
She was in another horror. I just don't remember which one.
And she looks good for her age, too.
She does. She's out there killing it on the convention scene.
Mm-hmm.
Nick Corey is Rod Lane. Leslie Hoffman as the hall guard. Lynn Shay as the teacher. Mimi Craven as the nurse.
Okay.
Yeah, very cool.
And out of all of them, well, obviously Heather Langenkamp and John Saxon would reprise their roles at the second sequel, Part 3. And I liked Part 3. Like, I always wondered, like, they never really said why the dad was a security guard for a junkyard. Or no, he wasn't for a junkyard, but he's just a security guard.
Yeah, they never went into that.
I wish they just put a little bit more into that.
Yeah.
Because maybe he probably went to the bottle after all this happened.
Yeah.
So yeah. What else we got?
We're going into development.
Okay.
Very interesting stuff here. Excuse me, choking. Let me drink some coffee real quick. A Nightmare on Elm Street contains many biographical elements from director Wes Craven's childhood. The film was inspired by several newspaper articles printed in the Los Angeles Times in the 1970s about the Hmong refugees who, after fleeing to the United States because of war and genocide in Laos, Cambodia, and Vietnam, suffered disturbing nightmares and refused to sleep. Some of the men died in their sleep soon after. Medical authorities called the phenomenon Asian death syndrome. That's racist. The condition afflicted men between the ages of 19 and 57 and was believed to be sudden unexplained death syndrome or Brugada syndrome. Craven stated that it was a series of articles in the LA Times, 3 small articles about men from Southeast Asia who were from immigrant families and had died in the middle of nightmares. And the paper never correlated them. Never said, hey, we've had another story like this. The 1970s pop song Dreamweaver by Gary Wright sealed the story for Craven, giving him not only an artistic setting to jump off from, but the synthesizer riff for the movie soundtrack. Craven has also stated that he drew some inspiration for the film from Eastern religions. Other sources attribute the inspiration for the film to be a 1968 student film project made by Craven's students at Clarkson University. The student film parodied contemporary horror movies and was filmed along Elm Street in Pottstown, New York. Never heard that part.
No.
The film's villain, Freddy Krueger, is drawn from Craven's early life. One night, a young Craven saw an elderly man walking on the side path outside the window of his home. The man stopped to glance at his startled Craven and walked off. This served as the inspiration for Krueger. Initially, Fred Krueger was intended to be a child molester, but Craven eventually characterized him as a child murderer to avoid being accused of exploiting a spate of highly publicized child molestation cases that occurred in California around the time of production of the film. On Freddy's nature, Craven states that, in a sense, Freddy stands for the worst of parenthood and adulthood. The dirty old man, the nasty father, and the adult who wants children to die rather than help them prosper. He's the boogeyman and the worst fear of children. The adult that's out to get them, he's a very primal figure, sort of like Kronos devouring his children. The evil, twisted, perverted father figure that wants to destroy and is able to get them at their most vulnerable moment, which is when they're asleep. By Craven's account, his own adolescent experiences led him to the name Freddy Krueger. He had been bullied at school by a child named Fred Krueger. Way to get back at that guy, Wes. Craven had done.
I'm surprised that guy didn't try to go after him for money.
Yeah, for real. Craven had done the same thing in his last film, The Last House on the Left, where the villain's name was shortened to Krug. And if you watch Last House on the Left, when they're chasing the parents through the house, he's walking like Freddy.
Oh, nice.
Craven chose to make Fred Krueger's sweater red and green after reading an article in a 1982 Scientific American that said these two colors were the most clashing colors to the human retina.
And the one thing I didn't pick up until years later, they changed the pattern of the sweater because wasn't the original, the stripes went across to the arms, right? And then in the later ones, it was a solid red on the arms.
No, I'm pretty sure they all had stripes.
Are you sure?
No, I'm not.
Did I just wow you with some knowledge?
No, everything I have has stripes on the arms.
I'm gonna have to go back and watch.
Yeah, we're gonna have to watch those.
Yeah.
I'll have to take a peek. Craven strove to make Krueger different from other horror film villains of the era. A lot of the killers were wearing masks. Leatherface, Michael Myers, Jason. He recalled in 2014. I wanted my villain to have a mask, but be able to talk and taunt and threaten. So I thought of him being burned or scarred. He also felt the killer should use something other than a knife because it was so common and everybody was using everything around the house. So I thought, how about a glove with steak knives? I gave the idea to our special effects guy, Jim Doyle. Ultimately, 2 models of the glove were built. The hero glove that was only used whenever anything needed to be cut, and the stunt glove that was less likely to cause injury. For a time, Craven had considered a sickle as the weapon of choice for the killer, but around the 3rd or 4th draft of the script, the iconic glove had become the final choice. Thank God it wasn't a sickle.
Yeah.
Alright, we'll do a little bit of the writing. Wes Craven began writing the screenplay for A Nightmare on Elm Street around 1981. After he had finished production on Swamp Thing, he pitched it to several studios, but each one of them rejected it for different reasons. The first studio to show interest was Walt Disney Productions. He was almost a Disney princess. Although they wanted Craven to tone down the content to make it suitable for children and preteens, Craven declined. Another studio Craven pitched to was Paramount Pictures, which passed on the project due to its similarity to Dreamscape 1984. Universal.
You know how if Paramount picked up on it, we could have gotten a Freddy versus Jason much sooner.
When it was like, could you think like one behind 2 of the biggest franchises ever?
Yeah. But obviously.
And they were already having success at this time because you're making Friday 4.
Yeah, but they didn't realize at the time, like when they didn't realize that Friday 13th was going to be such a big hit.
Yeah.
Well, lesson learned.
I mean, they've done good with horror there.
Yeah.
All right, Universal Studios also passed. Craven, who was in desperate personal and financial straits during this period, later framed the company's rejection letter on the wall of his office, which reads in its December 14th, 1982 print. We have reviewed the script you have submitted, A Nightmare on Elm Street. Unfortunately, the script did not receive an enthusiastic enough response for us to move forward at this time. However, when you have a finished print, please get in touch and we'd be delighted to screen it for a possible negative pickup. Wow. They told you to go fuck yourself.
Yeah.
Finally, the fledgling and independent New Line Cinema Corporation, which had up to that point only distributed films, agreed to produce the film. During filming, New Line's distribution deal for the film fell through, and for 2 weeks it was unable to pay its cast and crew. Although New Line has gone on to make bigger and more profitable films, A Nightmare on Elm Street was its first commercial success, and the studio is and will always be named the house that Freddy built.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah.
So, what a lot of people don't know is actor David Warner was originally cast to play Freddy.
What was he in? Does it say what he was in prior?
I believe, I'm going to look it up because I don't want to be wrong. But I'm pretty sure I know who he is.
Okay, I pulled him up too, and if it's the same, I know. Okay,
He's
got
the
that.
doctor from Turtles 2.
Yes,
That's
and he
David
was
Warner.
Okay, because he was also like the bodyguard in Titanic.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
I remember him most from Secret of the Use.
Okay. Yeah. He's got a very familiar face, and he recently passed away. July 24th, 2022.
But how was he going to pull off that accent and be scary like Freddy? I mean, it's just...
Well, actors do,
Yeah.
English actors do an American accent. He's definitely a villain. But again, he's not Robert Englund.
Nope.
I would love to see Robert Englund's test screen.
Me too.
Yeah.
He did. He made himself look scary by dipping his hands in Luke Skywalker's ashtray in his car and blacked out his eyes.
Okay.
To make him look even...
That's right, because they were like roommates or something, right? Yeah. Because I think Robert took Luke or Mark Hamill to the Star Wars audition, I think.
Yep.
Yeah. And up until this point, Robert really didn't do a lot. I think he did V before that.
He was still high on V, so he was still known around the place.
I mean, he was Willie, total opposite character.
Oh, completely opposite. Actor David Warner was originally cast to play Freddy. Makeup tests were done, but he had to drop out due to scheduling conflicts. Replacing him was difficult at first. Kane Hodder, who would later best be known for playing fellow slasher icon Jason Voorhees, was among those who Wes Craven talked with about the role of Freddy. According to Hodder, I had a meeting with Wes Craven about playing a character he was developing called Freddy Krueger. At the time, Wes wasn't sure what kind of person he wanted for the role of Freddy, so I had as good a shot as anyone else. He was initially thinking of a big guy for the part, and he was also thinking of someone who had real burn scars. But obviously, he changed his whole line of thinking and went with Robert Englund, who's smaller. I would have loved to play the part, but I do think Wes made the right choice, Hodder would eventually say.
Here's my impression of Kane Hodder doing Freddy.
It fucking works as Jason now. Oh, man.
I could never see someone that size playing Freddy Krueger. Like they nailed it with Robert Englund. Physical, theatrical. Robert Englund is Freddy. Will always be Freddy. And
oh yeah.
I just wish we got one more out of him.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
me too.
Yeah. Yeah.
I couldn't find an actor to play Freddy Krueger with the sense of ferocity I was seeking, Craven recalled on the film's 30th anniversary. Everyone was too quiet, too compassionate towards children. Then Robert Englund auditioned. He wasn't as tall as I'd hoped, but he had baby fat on his face. But he impressed me with the willingness to go to dark places in his mind. Robert understood Freddy. And he still does. That's his biggest.
Yeah.
When we have him on the show, we'll talk about him.
Do you have his autobiography?
I don't. England has stated that Craven was indeed in search of a big giant man originally. The casting director, Annette Benson, had talked Craven into seeing him about the role after England had auditioned for National Lampoon's Crass Reunion in 1982. Before England's agent at the time, Joe Rice, sent him to the casting office, Rice's friend Rhett Topham recommended England act rat-like and weasel-like, adding that when we read about abusers and molesters in the paper, they're not big hulking men, but little shit weasels. I thought he should go in and play it like that, and it worked. England had darkened his lower eyelids with cigarette ash on his way to his audition and slicked his hair back. I looked strange. I sat there, listened to Wes talk. He was tall and preppy and erudite. I posed a bit like Klaus Kalinske, and that was the audition. He said later he took the part because he was the only project to fit in the schedule during the hiatus between the V miniseries and series. Wow. So that's pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
See what else we got here. Is this the fun facts yet? Because I have a couple of them. No, that's just...
Yeah. Okay, so let's say they were to remake Freddy Krueger. Would you want them to do like what they did with Rob Zombie's Halloween, and the first half is a backstory on how Freddy became Freddy?
Yes.
Yeah, I think that would work really well. And then
not as flashbacks. I want it as like
a whole half an hour part, and then go into, your own story, if whether you want to bring back the Nancy character and all that. But I think that would be really cool. Don't do a prequel, but just do the first half is him being the child murderer, and then up until like do a quick court scene or whatever, and then the parents doing the vigilante thing.
Right. Yeah, no, I like that idea. That's a cool idea. I think
look me up, Hollywood.
Yeah, I think you either got to go a complete no name, like Star Wars has had great success with that.
Yeah.
Horror has too. Like, or someone that could play multiple characters. Like,
now this will be typecasting, and we talked about this before. I think we said like Evan Peters would be good.
Yes,
as Freddy. What about the guy that played Vecna on Stranger Things?
I don't hate that.
Yeah,
because he can go dark. I like that.
His Vecna voice is real.
Yeah.
It's not like
and it's very close to someone we know.
Yeah. Now, did you want more of Robert Englund in Stranger Things?
Of course, I want Robert Englund. Do you know how many shitty movies I've watched just because Robert Englund was in it? For
I love him
minutes?
In 2001 Maniacs.
Yeah, he was funny in that. But I mean, one of my favorite haunted attraction movies is Funhouse Massacre, and I only watched it because Freddy's in it for 3 minutes.
Right. Now, I haven't watched it from start to finish, but he was in Phantom of the Opera, came out like in the late 80s.
Yes. Have
you ever seen that one?
Yes.
Yeah.
It was okay.
Yeah.
I'm not a huge musical fan.
I just can't, picture him as, because, the Phantom's supposed to be like this suave guy, handsome, and you have Robert Englund.
Yeah.
Definitely could play the monster part of the Phantom, but not the, ladies' man Phantom.
Yeah. I mean, I think they just left us wanting more. I mean, I think they thought they oversaturated, but you really fucking didn't. You're dealing with nightmares. You could have went anywhere.
Yeah.
I mean, we're about to have more Sauls than we did fucking Freddy, and that's oversaturated. There was one every like 6 months.
Yeah. Who's to say if we are going to get another Freddy? I know at one point the Wes Craven estate had put out like an open call for.
They do it once in a while for scripts, but they have to like the material, which I kind of like.
Yeah.
It's not like anyone can make some piece of shit movie like Candyman. Oh, I'm sorry. Was that out loud? That movie really pissed me off. It was okay. It was okay.
It was a good
But I don't need
follow-up.
movies to make message. Make a fucking YouTube video if you want to get a message across. Leave the shit or you know, make a rom-com. Make whatever, make a realistic movie. That's fine. I don't care. Get it the fuck out of horror.
Don't make a movie saying it's a UFO movie and then it turns out to be a killer kite.
Yeah, a fucking killer kite. What the fuck, man? I was so pissed because I love him. She was okay. The three of them were funny. Then they brought in the other dude who was funny, and then this is the problem.
Yeah,
I'm done. Like, fuck you.
Like I said, I'd rather have a movie about Gordy than a fucking kite.
Yeah, for real. I'd rather fucking watch Mac and Me. So a little bit with the retrospective. The film has a 95% approval rating based on 56 reviews on Rotten Tomatoes, which we don't give a fuck about. And then they go on, intelligent premise combined with the shut up. I hate when they talk like that. The film is also considered one of the best of 1984 by filmsite.org. In 2010, the Independent Film and Television Alliance selected the film as one of the 30 most significant independent films of the past 30 years. And it's hard to remember it was an independent film. Yeah. It ranked at number 17 on Bravo's The 100 Scariest Movie Moments, but I can care what Bravo has to say. In 2008, Empire ranked Nightmare on Elm Street 162nd on their list of 500 greatest movies. I'll take that for a horror.
So I have a list here of horror movies that came out in 1984.
Okay, what do we got?
We got Gremlins.
Good movie.
Children of the Corn.
Good movie.
Chud.
Yeah, it was okay.
Firestarter.
Yeah.
Night of the Comet.
Don't remember that.
Friday the 13th, The Final Chapter.
Yep.
Razorback.
No idea.
The Initiation. Another Wes Craven film called Invitation to Hell.
Mm-hmm.
The Terminator.
Oh.
Monster Dog. Dreamscape. The Hills Have Eyes Part 2. Toxic Avenger. Scream for Help. Death Warmed Up. The Power, and what is this one? Bloodbath at the House. So it had some good movies that came out in 84. So I think the three biggest, in my opinion, would be Freddy, Gremlins, and Friday the 13th Part 4. So but I know the weekend it came out, and the one thing that's not on the list, probably because it got removed from the theaters, was Silent Night, Deadly Night, because those two movies came out the same weekend. And Silent Night, Deadly Night actually was number one that weekend when Nightmare on Elm Street came out. And, it was pulled after 6 days. So I always wonder if they didn't pull it, who would have been the number one horror film of that season.
Really? And then we got some American film recognition. AFI's 100 Years, 100 Heroes and Villains. Number 40 was Freddy Krueger.
Number 40?
Yeah, it's okay.
What?
Who cares? Academy of Science. There's one big one that I'm getting to. Academy of Science Fiction, Fantasy, and Horror. Best Horror Film, 1985 nomination. Best DVD Classic Film Release. Special mention for acting, Heather Langenkamp. But the biggest one is, I think I left it at the top. In 2021, Nightmare on Elm Street was selected for preservation in the United States National Film Registry by the Library of Congress as being culturally, historically, or aesthetically significant. Boom! Good. In the big one.
Nice.
There's only one rapper in there too, right? You know that?
Who?
Tupac.
Really?
Dear Mama. It's in the National Registry.
Dear Mama, interesting.
Yeah, and Changes, or it's either Changes or Dear Mama.
Well, funny story about Changes. So that was actually he sampled the music from Bruce Hornsby,
Yeah.
and my oldest friend Jim Felton was good friends with Bruce Hornsby. His mom babysat him growing up.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That's really cool. All right, we'll get to got a little bit of time left. A couple of fun facts here. A lot of this shit we already went over, though. All the boiler room footage in the film was shot in the basement of the Lincoln Heights jail in Los Angeles, which was condemned shortly after production wrapped due to high levels of asbestos.
Have you have you ever watched the filming locations by Sean Clark?
No, not
on
yet.
YouTube? All right, I'll send you the links for that. It's really good because I know he does part one. I think it's the only one he's done. I don't think he's done any other ones. Or did he do part one? No, the running gag was who was it? Glenn? Was that the character's name in part two? He's
Jesse?
friends, not Jesse, but the friend Glenn. Was it Glenn?
No, it wasn't
No, no, no,
Glenn.
no. What the guy that died by Jesse?
Yeah.
Um,
Fuck.
but I'm not sure. I think if he's either friends with Sean or Sean is his booking agent. But when he was doing the Halloween filming locations, because they're literally right around the corner from each other,
Yeah.
the actor would be like, "Oh, you're doing the filming location." He's like, "No, no, no."
Is he better than the other people that blocked us on Twitter after just asking one time for an interview?
Oh, Sean Clark is the man.
Okay.
He has a great YouTube channel. He represents a lot of great actors and actresses, and I believe he is behind Horror Hound, the convention too.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but yeah, he's so much better and more knowledgeable and doesn't let the fame get to his head.
Oh, very good. Yeah.
And he's got a sick horror collection
I'm
too.
sure he does.
Yeah.
Heather Langenkamp beat over 200 actresses for the role of Nancy Thompson. Among them were Jennifer Grey, Demi Moore, Courtney Cox, Tracy Gold, and Claudia Wells.
Tracy Gold. I can see Claudia Wells. Can't see Demi Moore.
No.
Not Jennifer Grey. No. I'm glad we got Heather Langenkamp is your girl next door.
Yep. And that's why it played.
Yeah.
Because you watch her change through the movie, which is awesome.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of these fun facts we already covered, brother. So I don't really think we should really keep firing out here.
Now, did you have the VHS box set? Remember, it was like the arm spread out. Like, do you remember that one? Oh. There you go.
Did I have it? You mean, do I have it?
And didn't you just recently get that?
Yes.
Yes.
And all sealed, of them correct? Were sealed but one.
Nice. What about the DVD set? Do you have that one too? The original collection. Yep, I had that one, and I gave it to one of the people I used to support because I got them on Blu-ray. I hope we get a set like they did for Friday the 13th and Halloween,
Yeah,
like
I used
features.
To have... No, this was really cool. This was... Here, it was like kind of like a game, but it was all the behind the scenes.
Oh yes, and it was like
you had to click through it. Yeah.
Yes, I remember that one. Yep.
I used to have the 3D glasses that came with this, but I don't know.
You lost them?
No, my sister did. I remember that. Unless they're buried in here. Yeah, the box has seen better days, but my original purchase. This was
20 years old.
I just started working at KB Toys. I had a day off. I ran to Best Buy and I bought this.
Nice.
It was like my first purchase after having like a job.
That's cool. and I own it. I'm sure you do. The documentary.
Oh, Never Sleep Again? I don't own
Yeah.
it, but I've watched it a ton of times. I know. I just haven't bought it yet.
Sacrilegious, wearing a Jason shirt and you don't own
I know.
Never Sleep Again.
And I have the Blu-ray collection next to it, too.
Yeah, I got the Blu-ray. I just hope they come out with a definitive box set like we got for Friday 13th and Halloween. It's long overdue for Freddy to get a good box set.
Nah, I finally found... I hunted for the Friday the 13th box set, dude.
The latest one?
No, this one's the black box.
Oh, yeah. It's so cheap now, but before the newest one came out, it was like going for over $200.
Yeah, because it was out of print. You couldn't find it. I got this for $50 on Facebook.
Nice.
So yeah, I was like, we were leaving. I'm like, oh, we're not leaving yet. Hold on, we got to make a pit stop. So I cash apped the chick or whatever, and she left it on her porch. And yeah, I've been hunting for that for a long time because that was hard to find, and it's a good kit. It's a very good kit.
Yep.
Yeah, I got a lot of nightmare shit. I have a frame for the print I had you pick up. I was just waiting for my
nice.
Because I have to buy special shit to hang shit on my walls because everything falls.
Right.
Yeah, this was a Nightmare on Elm Street, man. This was a lot of fun.
Yeah, it was good. It makes me want to go back and watch them.
Now you're gonna make me go back. I do have to watch like 4 or 5 to
I haven't watched 4
it.
and 5 in so long.
But like the rest, I'm good. I know scene by scene by scene.
Yeah.
Especially Freddy's Dead, because it's kind of like my closet favorite. Because he was such a jokester in it, and it was cool graphics, and it had a little backstory.
It was so campy.
It was.
I'll get you, my pretty, and your little soul, too.
Yep. Fucking hilarious. I loved it.
Or like when he's pushing the bed of spikes, and he's like...
Oh, the Wile E. Coyote? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. That was fun.
In 1492, Freddy sailed the ocean blue.
Oh, man. But, do you want to continue Nightmare, or do you want to do a little true crime next, or do you want to break up
we could maybe do another Nightmare. We could do like part 2 next week and then break it up and do something else. Have a little break after every 2.
Yeah.
It'll get me to watch the films.
Yeah, that sounds good. Yeah. Because I don't want to do all of them straight through because people will start getting bored. But I definitely want to check out that dude from England you sent me, because that's creepy as
shout
shit.
out to Kevin Ellis, our second verified listener. He sent a really cool true crime that neither one of us have heard, and pretty creepy too.
I'm pretty versed in that, and reading through that, I thought I would have heard about it, but I didn't.
Yeah. And you know what? This upcoming Friday, I guess, is a release on a Monday. One of my favorite holidays of the year, Friday the 13th.
Friday the 13th.
I'll be at the Blairstown Diner.
Get the Blairstown.
Yeah. You should. I know you're probably working, but you got to get your ass up there. We can interview Gary. It'd be a good episode for a podcast. He did say, come on down to record an episode.
Yeah, we'll have to work on that.
Maybe like in October, you can come up. I forgot. Never mind.
Owner actually reached out to us in Tennessee, and we're going to interview him tomorrow.
Oh, awesome. What's the name of his haunt?
It is the... Hold, please. It's the 13th Realm in Atwood, Tennessee.
There you go. Atwood, Tennessee.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to talking to him. That was pretty cool.
Awesome.
Yeah, he just emailed me, and I was like, hey, what are you doing tomorrow? Let's just get this going.
Yeah, that's great when people are reaching out to you to interview and not the other way around, because sometimes it's a pain in the butt.
Yeah, I mean, I'm trying to... Interviews are going to be tough with me and you.
Yeah.
But we'll figure it out. We'll get there.
Yeah.
There's a couple people I want to reach out to. And follow us on social media, guys. We're trying to get the Facebook numbers up, the Instagram numbers up. We did get another subscriber, though. So that was cool.
Hey, so what are we up to now?
33 on YouTube.
All right, 33.
Hey, you got to start somewhere.
Yeah.
It feels like with the Halloween haunts, the first 100 were the hardest to get. It really was.
Right.
And now that's up to 456 or something like that.
Good. And you're busy, and I'm busy, so we're not
we're not
very
fully
active.
pushing it. So
yeah, and we could be doing more, but hey, we are getting the views on YouTube, which is great for not really promoting.
Yeah.
So that's, you know,
we got 4 videos over 100 views, which is, hey, people are finding us.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's exciting. So if you're listening still after our awesome look into A Nightmare on Elm Street, one of the most substantial horror movies of our time, like, subscribe, and click that bell. We come out every Monday.
Mm-hmm.
We don't miss weeks or make up seasons or anything like that. Yeah. You got anything else, brother?
No, that's it. Just I'll be at Blairstown, New Jersey on Friday the 13th. So if any of our 33 listeners are in the tri-state area of New Jersey, I'll be there from 12 to 4.
12 to 4.
12 to 4, yeah. It probably won't be really busy because it's January, but
and it's Friday.
yeah, but it's Friday the 13th. I do know Royce Hall, which is 2 streets across on Main Street. They're showing Friday the 13th. 35 millimeter cut.
Wow,
so
cool.
Yeah, definitely. I don't know how much they charge, maybe like $10-15, but there's other places. I think in Philly, outside of Philly, they're playing part 2. So,
very cool.
Yeah,
I like 2 a lot more than 1. Sorry.
Well, yeah, I mean, because it has Jason in it,
I think it's more the cast. Like, I really loved Amy Steele.
She's like my favorite final girl in the whole series, and such a great person to meet in person as well. And there's a guy, actually, I don't know where he lives, and I've seen it in a bunch of Friday posts. He is recreating the shack.
Oh, that's cool.
Toilet. Not like a model, like an actual shack.
Yeah, if you drive on 322, there's one that looks like that old garden stop, you know what I mean?
Oh, yes.
I'm like, hey, look, Jason's house.
There you go.
All right, guys, but let's wrap that up. We're a little over what we aimed for, but whatever. We were doing A Nightmare on Elm Street. There's a lot of shit to cover. And we could even do a part 2 if we wanted to, but we will move on. Yeah. We will not be covering a remake because that movie doesn't exist.
It exists in my world. I somewhat enjoy it.
Do you own it?
I do. I'm a completist.
You son of a bitch. You know what, though? I fucking own it, too.
Oh, there you go.
Because it came in the goddamn Blu-ray set.
Well, there you go.
I was tempted to just be like, beep! Like I did with The Ring.
You got a new coaster.
Yeah, for real. All right, guys. Thanks for stopping by. You like our moving letters? That's pretty awesome. I learned how to do that. But this has been the Horror Shed Podcast. Make sure you like, subscribe, tell a friend, and we will see you next Monday. Have a good week.
Take care.
Halloween Haunts 365 Productions.